You lived an entire life before the age of 3. You were born, you opened your eyes for the first time, you heard your mother's voice, you felt touch, you learned patterns. You experienced the world in its purest form, and yet you remember none of it. Not a single moment. It feels like it never existed, but that is not because nothing happened. It is because your brain did something far more complex than simply forgetting. Most people assume the answer is simple: your brain was not ready yet. But the reality is far more unsettling. Your infant brain was not failing to record your life, it was recording everything. Every sensation, every sound, every emotional signal was being processed. But instead of preserving it, your brain was in a constant state of construction and reconstruction. In the earliest years of life, your brain is overwhelmed with information. It does not yet have the stable systems needed for long-term memory storage. Neural connections are forming at extraordinary speed, and at the same time, old connections are being removed. This process is not random, it is essential. Your brain is not just learning, it is building itself. And in this process of building, something unavoidable happens: destruction. As new neurons form and new pathways develop, older connections that once held early experiences are overwritten. Your childhood is not erased in a single moment, it is gradually dismantled, piece by piece, until it becomes inaccessible. But memory loss is not just structural. It is also functional. Early in life, you do not yet have a stable sense of self. There is no continuous internal narrator organizing experiences into a personal story. Without that self, experiences cannot anchor properly into autobiographical memory. Things happen, but they are not yet happening to you in the way you understand it today. Even more importantly, language has not yet fully developed. Without language, your experiences exist as raw sensations rather than structured memories. Sound, light, emotion, and touch exist in the moment, but without words to organize them, they dissolve rather than remain. As language develops, memory begins to stabilize. As self-awareness emerges, experience becomes personal. And as the brain matures, the earliest unstructured version of reality fades away, not because it was meaningless, but because it was never designed to be permanent. At the same time, the brain is constantly optimizing itself. It does not preserve everything, it preserves what is useful. It builds efficiency at the cost of completeness. This is why so much of early life disappears. The system is not broken. It is prioritizing survival over storage. But even the memories that survive are not stable. Memory is not a recording, it is a reconstruction. Every time you recall something, your brain rebuilds it using fragments, emotion, and imagination. Over time, memories shift. They change. They become less like facts and more like interpretations of the past. This means your childhood is not a fixed archive inside your brain. It is a living narrative that evolves with you. And as your identity changes, your interpretation of the past changes with it. Your brain edits your memories not to deceive you, but to maintain coherence in who you believe you are. So the question becomes deeper: if your memories are constantly reconstructed, and your early experiences were never fully stabilized, then what exactly happened to your childhood? Did it disappear, or was it transformed beyond recognition? Neuroscience suggests something even more complex. Your brain does not simply store memories, it simulates reality. What you experience as life is actually a continuous construction created moment by moment. Your sense of self is not fixed either, it is an ongoing process generated by multiple brain systems working together. There is no single point in the brain where you exist. Instead, you are an emergent pattern created by memory, perception, emotion, and prediction. And this pattern is constantly updating. The you that experienced childhood no longer exists in the same form as the you reading this now. This creates a paradox: the self that lived your early years is gone, and the self that remembers them was never there. So who actually owns those memories? Who did those experiences belong to? The answer is uncomfortable. No single version of you fully contains your entire life. Instead, your identity is a continuous reconstruction across time, stitched together by the brain into a single narrative for stability. And that stability comes at a cost. To maintain a coherent sense of self, your brain removes discontinuities. It smooths over gaps. It hides the fact that you are not one fixed identity, but a sequence of constantly evolving versions of yourself. So your childhood is not missing because something went wrong. It is missing because your brain prioritized becoming you over preserving what came before you. It rebuilt itself so many times that the original structure no longer exists in a recoverable form. In the end, your brain did not erase your childhood out of neglect. It erased it because survival, identity, and consciousness required transformation. Every human being goes through this. Every person you know carries a silent gap where their earliest self once existed. So the final truth is this: you did not simply lose your childhood. You became the reason it can no longer be found.